So what is up, everybody? This is AllDayOBJ here, bringing you another installment of the Why This series, and today we're going to be looking at the AN-94. So getting right into it, the AN-94 has a damage of 40 to 24. So that's pretty good for assault rifles in general. 40 to 24 damage is quite high. That means it's going to be a 3 to 5 shot kill. So overall, this gun is very, pretty consistent because of that. It's not going to be like some of the SMGs are like 6 shot to kill at long range, that kind of thing. So 3 to 5 shot kill, so pretty good damage. Besides that, some more stats about it. Its magazine size is 30 rounds and 40 rounds with extended clip. Now, this is pretty default for assault rifles. Most of them have 30 rounds. Nothing really special in terms of magazine size. Now, the rate of fire, though, is pretty interesting. Now, the rate of fire of the AN-94, the first 2 bullets for every time you squeeze the trigger shoot at 937.5 RPM. So this means it's going to be shooting just as fast as some of the SMGs like the MP7 or the Vector, that kind of thing, with the first 2 bullets. Now, all the other bullets that are shot after those initial first 2 for every time you squeeze the trigger are going to shoot at 625 RPM. So the 625, it's a little bit on kind of the average side, maybe on the lower side of assault rifle speed, but 937, that's very, very fast. And what's kind of interesting about this gun is that with select fire, the gun becomes a 2-round burst weapon. So if you have the trigger finger, the 2-round burst weapon, that means it will shoot at 937 RPM constantly. This means that the select fire attachment, of course, is quite a good attachment on this gun and is definitely recommended. So if you haven't tried out select fire on the AN-94, make sure to try that out. It's definitely really, really good. Definitely will help you out. So, yeah, moving on. So the AN-94's iron sights are actually quite clear, in my opinion at least. They're definitely quite usable. As you can see in this picture here, all you do is line up the middle sight right where where you want to shoot, and that's about it really. So you don't really need any optics, but red dot sight is very nice to have if you have room on your class, because then you can just be very, very precise with your shots, and the more precise the better. But I'd say for in general, you don't really need the red dot sight, but it is definitely very, very good because, you can keep your, shots on target. I wouldn't recommend any other sight. The target finder is decent, but you don't have your peripherals, so it's not that great. Red dot sight definitely is the best out of all the sights to use on it. So that's what I would use, just because, if I had room on my class, but mostly I would want to, use my other class slots for other things, so most of the time I won't be rocking red dot sight, but every once in a while I will. So I would recommend on the AN-94 the suppressor and the stock. Now the suppressor, that's pretty obvious. The suppressor has been a staple, for a Call of Duty player in pretty much every game. On the submachine guns, though, I feel like it turns them into pea shooters. They just don't do any damage if you have suppressors on them. So I would not recommend the suppressor on the SMGs. But on assault rifles, it doesn't really take away much. On LMGs, it pretty much does nothing to them. So I definitely recommend it on the AN-94. Now, the stock is also, I think, a very, very good attachment. I pretty much cannot play without the stock if I'm using an assault rifle, just because I don't even need quick draw, because I can just pre-aim everywhere and just strafe around like crazy. So overall, the stock is just extremely, extremely useful because you can just strafe around corners like a little ninja. Now, the perks that we're going to be using are Ghost and Lightweight for the first tier. Now, Lightweight was very, very useful because you can stack it with the stock, because Lightweight, it means 7% better movement speed. That doesn't matter if you're aimed down sight or not or any of that. So that means an extra 7% strafing speed when you have the stock. So you can strafe around corners even faster, pre-aim, even better. And overall, it will help a lot. Also, if you're going to be rushing, because I consider the AN-94 the most close range of any assault rifle, then the Lightweight is very, very helpful. Now, Ghost is pretty much, a necessity in this game. You really do need it. UAVs are used a lot. Definitely not as frequently as they were used at the beginning of the game, but it's definitely nice to have Ghost. Just staying off the radar in general is, I think, definitely a smart thing, and there is room on the class, at least this class, to use it, so I would definitely recommend it. Now, second perk, I would recommend Scavenger. Now, Scavenger is just so you can, resupply ammo, so you don't have to be picking up guns and doing all that stuff. And also, you can resupply your lethal and tactical, so overall, Scavenger will definitely help a lot because you get unlimited lethal, unlimited tactical, and unlimited ammo. So that's a lot of unlimited things you have. So it's definitely, I think, the strongest perk to, except for maybe Toughness. Toughness is also very, very helpful, but I don't see a huge need for Toughness in pubs, and in competitive it's very helpful, but in pubs it's not necessary, at least in my opinion. Now for a third perk, you're going to want to have Dexterity. Dexterity, that's pretty obvious. It just helps you so much in general that it's kind of hard not to use it. After all, you get 40% faster climbing, plus it cuts down your sprint recovery by a lot. I think it turns it into 33% of the time, so it really does cut down the time that it takes to pull out your gun, so you can pull out your gun very, very fast. So that's obviously really helpful. Now, the recoil on the AN-94 I would classify as moderate. It definitely isn't too high, definitely isn't too low. If you're holding down the trigger for a long time, you'll definitely feel the recoil, but overall, I really wouldn't call it that bad at all, so the recoil, it really isn't too much of a problem, and if you have room to put a foregrip onto your class, you can definitely do that, but in my opinion, the foregrip doesn't do a whole lot. It definitely does something, but doesn't make the biggest difference where I would, spend an extra attachment point on it. But if the foregrip, is like a necessary attachment for you, then go ahead and rock it out. But anyways, this is about all for the AN-94. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.